Yeah, this might honestly be one of the worst casted shows I've seen in a long time. In my last video about The Last of Us Season 2, I talked about how Bella Ramsey was a horrible miscast for Ellie, and over 240,000 of you tuned in and gave your thoughts. So I think that gives me a little credibility to now give my take on Kaitlyn Dever as Abby Anderson. In that video, I got a ton of comments saying Kaitlyn actually looks more like Ellie than Bella does, and I can't help but agree. Casting an actress whose fans have been begging to play the main character as her enemy is already weird. But even putting that aside, Kaitlyn doesn't really look anything like the older version of Abby we get in the game, and that's not even mentioning her build, or complete lack of one. Ellie and Abby have two very distinct looks in the game, and that's by design. It reflects their playstyles. Ellie is quick, quiet, and nimble. Abby, on the other hand, is... Goodness, oh my god! Barbaric! Come on. My god! Get wrecked! Get wrecked! Abby is an absolute tank in the game, and for good reason. She's been training for 5 years with one goal: to kill Joel Miller. So casting Kaitlyn, who's 5'2", petite, and physically unconvincing, feels like a total injustice to the character. One fan casting I've seen floating around on social media is Shannon Berry. Her physique is much closer to Abby's, and with a little bit of training, she could absolutely pull it off. At 5'7", she'd also tower over 5'1" Bella Ramsey, which would help emphasize Abby's physical dominance and power over Ellie. But of course, that's just the fan casting. What really matters is what we're actually seeing on screen. And based off what we've seen so far, purely on looks and physical presence, Kaitlyn Dever's version of Abby feels completely weak. No pun intended. I came across something recently where the casting director said they were less focused on whether the actors looked like the characters and more focused on whether they could capture the essence of the character. That's something I also saw a lot of people bring up in the comments of my Bella Ramsey video. And for Ellie, I can maybe understand that. But for Abby, that logic completely falls apart. Abby's entire body is a manifestation of her rage, her grief, and her obsession with vengeance. She's built like that for a reason. So casting someone with no visible muscle, who clearly hasn't gone through any physical transformation or combat training, just doesn't make sense. Especially when Abby's character in the game got dragged by fans for being too muscular. It feels like the showrunners are trying to avoid the same backlash by softening her look, but that completely misses the point of who Abby is. Now, I hate Abby, but not because her arms are bigger than mine. Abby should have been a beautiful, beefy queen. Wow. But she isn't. So that leads me to the question, what the hell was Abby doing for 5 years? Golfing? It honestly feels like the show is trying harder to cater to the actors than to stay faithful to the source material. And I'm sorry, but I am not listening to anyone who says Abby's physique is a minor, discardable part of her character. That's just plain foolish. Now, as much as some of us might not want to, let's leave Abby's muscles alone for a bit and talk about Kaitlyn Dever's overall portrayal of the character. From what I've seen, it's kinda bad. Now, I haven't really seen Kaitlyn Dever in anything outside of this, so I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt and assume she's a good actress, and that the writing is just terrible. You know, that classic bad writing equals bad performance kind of thing. But even with that in mind, TV Abby comes off completely different than game Abby. Aside from the fact that most of her dialogue is just exposition dumps, Kaitlyn Dever plays Abby more like a smug villain than a grieving daughter out for revenge. Never once in the game did I ever feel like Abby was trying to be tough. She just was. No long-winded speeches, no dramatic posturing. One thing about game Abby is that she got straight to business, and most players believe she was tough and capable without her ever having to say it. The show's version of Abby though feels like she's constantly trying to prove she's tough, or like she wants to be seen as a leader, and that kind of insecurity totally takes me out of the experience. For example, there's a really questionable bit of dialogue in episode 2. Take a look.
You actually are pretty handsome. Congrats on that.
Yeah, that's ass. And honestly, it doesn't make any sense. Who in their right mind compliments the man who murdered their father? And another thing, why is Abby monologuing so damn much? You've been waiting years to get revenge, and you decide to talk the man's ear up before doing it? To be fair, it did give me my favorite Pedro Pascal Joel moment.
Oh, it's funny. I have waited
Just shut the fuck up and do it already.
Kaitlyn Dever's Abby has no real dominance in the show, outside of yelling at her friends and beating up on a handicapped Joel. And honestly, that's not Kaitlyn's fault. Same thing with Bella Ramsey. I saw a lot of comments blaming Bella personally, and I just want to say, I do not agree with that. It's rude to hate on an actor just because you don't like their portrayal. At the end of the day, this is HBO and Neil Druckmann's fault. When you're adapting a story that's already beloved and established, the smartest thing you could do is stay as close as possible to what made the story great. Sure, you can make some changes, but when you start straying too far and flying too close to the sun, you risk turning the adaptation into something totally unrecognizable. And if you don't believe me, just look at Marvel Studios or Game of Thrones. Marvel was printing money in its early phases, but when they started drifting too far from the comics and alienating their core fan base, that support started to crumble. In Game of Thrones, once they ran out of source material and decided to speedrun the ending, they completely destroyed the legacy of one of the greatest TV shows of all time. Same thing with The Last of Us TV show. The more they act like the game's source material doesn't matter, the more of the core fan base they lose. Sure, the casual viewer might still watch, but the loyalty, that'll never be the same. So don't blame Bella Ramsey or Kaitlyn Dever for the show's mistakes. Blame the people making the decisions. I mean, I doubt it was Kaitlyn's idea to have Abby compliment Joel right before she caves a skull in. Now, I might have been able to defend her performance if the writing were even halfway decent, but it's not. Abby's reveal has no surprise, her monologue falls flat, and her stature is laughable when you compare her to game Abby. Somehow, this show made Abby even more unlikable than she was in the game, and honestly, I didn't think that was possible. But that's what happens when you don't value the source material, or the fans who made it a success in the first place. At the end of the day, I just don't like this version of Abby. And not in the I can't wait to go to Seattle and hunt her down kind of way. Not like the game where you hated her for what she did but somewhat understood her. No, this is more of a what the hell was HBO thinking kind of dislike. This Abby doesn't feel real. She doesn't feel threatening. She doesn't even feel connected to the world she's supposed to exist in. And it's frustrating because we know what good writing, good casting, and good storytelling can look like. We saw it in the first game. And yet here we are, once again watching a watered down, out of character version of someone who was supposed to challenge us emotionally. Instead, I just feel kind of meh. And in typical The Last of Us fashion, the fan base is once again divided. Some people will defend these choices no matter what. Others are completely done with this show. So maybe this was Neil Druckmann and HBO's plan all along. Stir the pot, keep people talking, even if it means alienating a good chunk of the original fans. If that's a strategy, hey, more power to them. But me, I'll stick to the games, where The Last of Us still feels like The Last of Us. Oh, and there's like an 85% chance this show fails without Pedro Pascal. Alright, Tuxlandians, see you on the next one. Oh! Oh shit, okay. Oh, I'm tripping. Oh, get up. Are you kidding me? Abby, them big ass muscles is weighing you down, baby. Come on. Is that water? Oh. I don't know. Oh shit. Alright, come on. Get up right here. Come on. Abby, is it me? Am I the problem? Am I jumping too early? Oh shit, ah!